Carlos mentioned them, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when you think of Pittsburgh, when you think of say what you will, but
when I think of Pittsburgh.
well,
Where's
I
my
know that
trash
you're not
can?
very happy, but
Where's
when you
the
think
trash
of
can?
when you think of Pittsburgh, you think blue collar. You think blue collar, just good old
Nose
country
down.
boys, and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what they did this draft class. They stayed true to the black and yellow there. And Mike Tomlin continued to just, I mean, they just continue to draft really, really well. I was very impressed with this draft class after looking at it. Their first two picks, they got Troy Fontenot and then Zach Frazier. And those two guys combined, right, have about 4,800 snaps in their college career. And between both of them, they've only allowed about 7 sacks. So, I mean, it is, those two guys are sure things. Zach Frazier is a big boy that can plug up the middle there. That's going to help, which we just all saw today. Najee Harris they're not picking up his 5th-year option. So this is pretty much Najee Harris contract year where the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to see if they're going to move forward with him or not. Um, but I mean, Zach Frazier can help with that. Can help open up holes for Najee, and then Fontenot, probably one of the best tackles, if not the best tackle that was in this draft class. Coming in to this draft class. I mean, I know that we got Joe All and Mims. I understand that, but if you look at this guy's tape, man, he moves like a freaking running back, and he shouldn't for his size. I mean, this guy is just he plays well. He gets up the field to help continue the block. The screen games, I mean, he's just his footwork is very impressive. And to top it all off, this guy he grew up a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. So like the
That's
fact that
good.
he got
That's
drafted
cool.
no by in the first round by his team because he was a big Troy Polamalu fan, and so that's kind of how he became a Steelers guy. And the fact that he got the call from the 412 area code, that's what he said in his press conference. As soon as he saw the 412, he knew, he was happy. And same with Zach Frazier, man. I mean, he loves the Pittsburgh Steelers. At the end of the day, man, this organization has found success through and throughout all the years. Mike Tomlin, say what you will about him, but the guy is yet to have a losing season. So it's just one of those things that I mean, they stuck true to it. But then you go into the later rounds. They got Rome Wilson and then they got Peyton Wilson. Rome Wilson, very fast wide receiver from Michigan that has very good hands. His route running could probably use some better. His route running can be cleaned up, but that can be cleaned up in the NFL. You can
Mm-hmm.
learn how to clean up your route running in the NFL. But then you get Peyton Wilson. I don't know if you guys know about this linebacker out of NC State, but this guy is probably the best linebacker that was coming out of this draft class. This guy is insane on the field. Absolute weapon. Lights out, ran like a 4.43. Okay, so he can keep up with some wide receivers in the NFL. He can keep up with Keon Coleman, that's for sure. So, but I mean, like, the guy is all over the field, and he's immune to playing at MetLife because the guy is missing an ACL in one of his knees. So that was one of the big hits of him as far as that's probably why he fell out as far as he did. But watch out for Peyton Wilson. And I'm not the only person saying it. A guy by the name of Luke Kuechly said that he loves Peyton Wilson and the game that he produces and thinks that he's a very good player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's not forget the Pittsburgh Steelers got Patrick Queen this offseason. So that linebacking duo was going to be nasty. I give the Pittsburgh Steelers an A plus because of what they were able to do this draft. And yeah, AFC North should be put on notice. I know it's a strong division. But Mike Tomlin and what they are going to continue to build there, especially with Russell Wilson mentoring Justin Fields now, I like what they have done.
Yeah,
man.
freaking
You had some
Pittsburgh.
sirens in the background, and
Well,
That was the Pittsburgh
I don't know if
Steelers
that was for
parade coming
Carlos
through.
or for the rest of the AFC North. I don't know if it was for Carlos and his potential shock and awe that he had there, because the Pittsburgh Steelers did exactly what the Dolphins should have done. And yeah, they definitely picked up some studs. The Wilson brothers, well, it's not Wilson brothers, but they might as well be. They do need some refinement. Luke Kuechly's critique of Wilson for linebacker, very similar in play at that kind of pre-read dog execution, explosiveness into the backfield. Yes, he absolutely can keep up with even wide receivers, so it's not an issue. Rome Wilson, I think, from Michigan at wide receiver. Yeah, he definitely needs to get a sharper footwork for his routes, but I think that can easily be coached. The O-line guys, just perfect, because Justin Fields was running around for his life in Chicago, and same thing with Russell Wilson at Denver. So,
and also let's not forget they got Broderick Jones last year from Georgia, who is
yep.
probably going to move to left tackle, and then you got Fontenot at right tackle. I don't know; it could be opposite, but I'm leaning towards Jones going to the left tackle position.
Yeah, I don't think they had a bad pick.
No.
I mean, this is probably one of the better, like even their late round guys with Logan Lee with Iowa. Those Iowa guys are always
and then McCormick from South Dakota. I mean, yeah, he's only allowed 2 sacks over the last 3 years.
Yeah, you're 100% right that this should have been the Dolphins what their draft should have looked like, and they, man, I don't dislike any of their picks. I mean, now I hate Pittsburgh, but
well, that's why the sirens were going. That's why the sirens were going. They were coming to make sure
That's why
your blood pressure was okay. So sorry about that, everyone, but you can't control it, man. Hey, when someone's having a heart attack, you gotta go there. So
blink twice if you're okay, Carlos.
Right?
I'm not.
He's gonna keep his eyes wide open right now.
What are your thoughts, Theo? What about the Pittsburgh Steelers, man?
Man, I mean, I can only agree. I can only agree with what you guys have said so far. I thought it was a really phenomenal draft. I mean, Mike Tomlin, those guys up there, like we know what they do. Like they're expert. They're really good drafters. But what I always marvel at with the Steelers is I just think they're such a solid organization. You don't necessarily hear a whole lot of stuff coming from them. And I really think it's a great place. They've had some troubles at quarterback over the past couple of years, right? And it's been a little rough for them. But in most of their other positions, like you just see these guys get built up and grow. I think it's a great organization to go that is solid, and if you're starting as not necessarily the cleanest, like most shiny prospect, I think it's a great place for you to go and kind of get sharpened up under Mike Tomlin and that system that they have going on there. Listen, they're always a threat, right? Like they somehow find a way to always compete. We all know the Mike Tomlin stat. The negative season just doesn't come. And having a draft like this, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like that's gonna go too far from what we're used to seeing from them. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it. It's gonna be interesting. I think the main thing going into the year is still gonna be like this Russell Wilson, Justin Fields situation that we have going on. Like, is that gonna get sorted out? But
I don't know if it's really a situation, though, is it?
No,
I think Russell Wilson's the starter, and he's going to mentor Justin, and I think that's the perfect. If I mean,
I guess my thought is that as soon as, do we feel like Russell Wilson is going to just play well enough to not have the question marks 3 games in, and people are like, hey, is it time for Fields? Like, is he really going to take that team all the way, or like when are we going to start hearing that call for Fields? and
But
then it
Mike
starts to
Tomlin's never
be
been a coach to just switch quarterback in the middle of the season.
No, I
He's
think
never
he
really
needs
had
a.
to.
I mean, fair enough. All right, Scooter, relax.
I
Like,
I think
and to that point though, like I don't know if Russell Wilson is that mentor, right? There are certain personalities that
right.
click and that are well suited for mentorship. I don't know that much or that amount of depth into Russell Wilson outside of his play, so I can't speak to how he is as a mentor. Let's be real. I think the four of us probably couldn't accurately do that. But I just what I see on the field and what I saw on the sidelines the past 3 or so years from him, it didn't seem like a mentor. It seemed like a leader, but not a mentor, and that's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when you kind of do things the way things happen. Then I'm gonna move on to my pick next after this comment. But after, with them getting Fields the way they did, right after signing him, Russell, his situation is so interesting because Steelers aren't paying him. The Broncos are paying him. So like it's like who does he really care? Like at the end of the day, he's getting paid either way. Like they bring in Fields and he made the post on Twitter and he's like, "Oh yeah, let's go, man. We're good." Like, I mean, at the end of the day, he's getting his money. And not to say that he only cares about money, but at the same time, it's like usually when someone comes in, like we hear about Kirk Cousins and how upset he was about that the crazy Michael Penix signing, and like I don't know what Russell Wilson actual thought is. Does he feel like he's coming to the end? Like at the end of the day, his play on the field makes it seem like he's coming to the end. So like, is he gonna be real with himself, or is he gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna show you anything. Let's move on. It'll be interesting. That's so when I say like through the year, I think that's what's gonna be the kind of point of contention. We'll have to see.